short sequence will give you a good range of movement and stretching in all of the places that are the usual suspects for aches or pains, or in the case of the pelvis, weakness as well as the pelvis starts to stretch. It shouldn't take very long, probably about 10 minutes, and if you do it on a regular basis 2 or 3 times a week, you should hopefully start to see some improvement and find that you're getting rid of all those general aches and pains that you can get during pregnancy. So come into a comfortable seated position. If you're happy sitting cross-legged, just draw some of the flesh away from the sitting bones. If you're not comfortable cross-legged, if you have any SPD, symphysis pubis dysfunction, or any hip or knee pain, or if your baby is lying very, very low now, if you're towards the end of your pregnancy, then grab a handful of blocks or cushions and come into a kneeling position instead. So just push the blocks to the back of your hips and bring the knees together. So that's an alternative if you're not comfortable sitting cross-legged. So once you're comfortable, just draw the shoulders up to your ears as you breathe in, roll them back as you breathe out. And same again, breathing in, roll the shoulders up to the ears, and breathe out, release them all the way down. And then just close your eyes for a moment. Feel into your body, be aware of your pelvis, be aware of your spine, and be aware of your breath. Follow your inhale right the way in towards your baby, into your chest, into your collarbones. And as you breathe out, empty the breath out as much as you can. Let your breath find a nice, steady rhythm. Breathing consciously. When we breathe consciously, we take more oxygen in. So you're going to give more energy to yourself and more oxygen to your baby. And then you're going to bring the fingertips down onto the ground. We're going to work through the spine first of all. The next time you breathe in, you're going to extend the right arm all the way up to the ceiling and reach into the fingertips, lengthen through the side of your body. As you breathe out, lean into your left arm. Keep the right sitting bone on the ground, so don't tip the hips up. And as you breathe in, come all the way back to the center. Lengthen up again. And breathe out. Lower the arm all the way back down. Same on the other side. So breathe in, reach all the way up. Lengthen into the fingertips. And then breathe out. Ease over to the side. On the inhale, come up. And exhale. We're going to do that one more time. Go at your own pace. Go with the rhythm that you have with your breath. So the further you are in your pregnancy, the less breath capacity you may have. So you might find that as you progress with your pregnancy, the movements get a little bit quicker because you can't breathe in quite so much, so the breath gets shorter. And last time, coming over to the side. These side bends are really good for creating space in the side of the body, making a bit more space for you and your baby, and also helping the breath, getting a little bit more space around the ribs and around the lungs. Now our second movement is going to be a back bend. We're just going to work the thoracic part of the spine. So you're going to walk your hands all the way back behind you. If you're kneeling up on 3 blocks, just grab the back of the blocks, okay? Squeeze the shoulder blades together, root down through the sitting bones, and then just lift your baby up. Lift your ribs up. Lift your sternum, your breastbone up. And squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit more. And then take a long, slow breath in. Expand into all the space at the front of your chest. And breathe out and relax. And then we're going to come into a forward bend, but we're going to lengthen the spine rather than folding forwards. Just walk your hands forwards, keeping the sitting bones rooted into the ground or down into the block if you're sitting on a block. Just keep walking the hands forwards, but lengthen the front of your body. So draw the rib cage away from your pelvis. It doesn't matter how far forwards you get. You might enjoy a little bit of a wriggle or a sway from side to side here, which can help to loosen out the spine. Okay, and then slowly walk your hands all the way back. And then our last movement is a twist, really good to massage the digestive organs, but we're not going to twist very far because obviously you've got a baby there. And deep twists can also create a diastasis rectus, a split rectus muscle in the abs, so be very gentle with your twists. So you're going to extend both arms all the way up over the head, reaching up. And on the exhale, twist around towards your right, and you're going to bring your left hand on the floor in front of you and the right hand onto the floor behind. Come up onto your fingertips so that you can lengthen your spine. And then we're going to breathe our way into the twist. As you breathe in, you lengthen your spine. And as you breathe out, you rotate a little bit more. And again, breathing in, lengthen. Breathe out, rotate. And last time. And then breathe in, come all the way back to the center. And breathe out, roll the shoulders back. And then do the same on the other side. So breathing in, take the arms all the way up over the head. And this time rotate the other side. Right hand in front, left hand behind, and fingertips onto the ground. Now lifting up through the chest as you breathe in, create space between the vertebrae. And as you breathe out, just gently releasing over to the side. Breathing in again, lengthening and extending. Breathing out softly, rotating a little bit more. Last time, breathe in, lengthen. And breathe out, rotate. And then slowly come all the way back to the center. Now reach the arms all the way up again. Create some length, and we're going to come forwards for a second time. Bring the fingertips down onto the ground and just start to walk the hands forwards again. You might find you've got a little bit more space now. And then slowly come all the way back up. So from here we're going to come up over onto our hands and our knees. So turn yourself around and come all the way up. So this next move is a really useful one. It's what I call a bread and butter pose in pregnancy, because it's going to stretch and lengthen into your lumbar spine, which is often a place of compression during pregnancy. So have your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, and then keep the big toes together, but take the knees wide enough for your baby to fit through. You're going to take your hips all the way back onto your heels. So you're going to start by tucking your tailbone under, rolling your spine all the way to the ceiling, and then with your back in that round position, slowly sink back onto your heels. And you'll feel that length being created in the lower back. Once you get there, you can have a little sway from side to side, enjoying that opening in the lower back. And then when you're ready, you breathe in and you come all the way back up again. And you can repeat this as many times as you feel you need to. So you tuck your tailbone under, curl the spine up towards the ceiling, feel your baby moving up inside you, and then go back onto your heels. Make sure you don't lose that roundness in the spine as you go all the way back onto your heels. And inhale. And come up. And last time, tailbone tucks under, round the spine, and ease yourself all the way back. A little sway again if that feels nice in the low back. And inhale, come up. And this next move is really good for the hips. So quite often mums get achy hips, particularly in the middle of the night. So we're going to stretch out the whole of the hip joint. Now this one you'll need to miss if you've got SPD, symphysis pubis dysfunction. So just move on to the next thing on the video, okay? So slide the left knee forwards, the right leg all the way back behind you, and then you're just going to drop the left hip over to the side, and then you're going to drop the right hip over to the other side. So it's a really lovely hip stretch. Left hip drops over, the right hip drops over, and just repeat a few more times until you feel the hip joint starting to loosen up. And then we're going to change sides. So tuck your toes under and then just push that knee back, and then take the right knee forwards. Take the left leg back behind you, and then we're going to do the same thing again. Support yourself with your hands, drop the right hip over to the side, and then the left hip over. And drop the right hip over, and the left hip over. So don't worry if you can't get the hip all the way down to the ground. It's about getting that internal and external rotation on this back leg. So it doesn't matter how far down you go, you'll go to the point where you're tightest, so that's where you need to be, moving into your tight spots. And then when you finish, just push all the way back. And then you're going to come and lie onto your right side. So now we're going to do some hip strengthening work. This is always really useful in pregnancy. The hips are very soft throughout the whole of your pregnancy, so the hormones are making your hips bigger. They want everything to hinge ready for the birth and to give your baby more space. But it does often mean that the pelvis becomes unstable. So this is a really, really good quick fix to just bring some strength and stability back into the pelvis. So you're going to lie on your right side, support your head in your hand, and then bring the knees up as if you're sitting in a chair, so the knees are together. The ankles are together, and the ankles are going to stay fixed. This is the clamshell. So you're going to breathe in, lift the top knee, and then you're going to breathe out and lower it back down. Okay? So you want to keep the hips level, so you're not tipping the leg up as far as you can go. If it means that you're going to roll backwards on your pelvis, you want this to be just totally isolated into the side of the hip, side of the leg, and into the glutes as well. So these are big muscles that provide stability in the pelvis. So go slowly, so there's no momentum. You're having to use the muscles. You should feel it start to burn in your thighs and in your buttock, just on that left side. Ideally, you're going to do 10 of these, but in order to keep the video short, we're just going to switch over to the other side now. But try and do 10 regularly. So we're doing the same on the other side, so just come up, swing the legs all the way around, and same thing again. So support your head in your hands, bend up the knees, keep the ankles together, and lift the top knee and lower it down. Now when you come to do anything with the pelvis or anything in your body generally, in yoga, you often find that one side is tighter, one side is looser, one side has more mobility, one side might have more pain than the other. This is really natural, nothing wrong with that at all. Very common, as we tend to use our body asymmetrically. Okay, so same again, do 10 or up to 10 if you can. If the body gets tired, particularly the hip muscles, the pelvic muscles, do as many as you can and build up to doing 10. Lovely. And then slowly come all the way back up. And then we're going to finish off by coming up to standing. So you're going to come over onto your hands and your knees, and then you're going to tuck your toes under. We're going to uncurl. Now, part of me is going to disappear off the video when I do this. I'm going to have to readjust the camera. So I'll be in full shot once I've adjusted the camera. So you're going to lift the knees off the ground, and then you plant your heels. Make space for your baby, so take your feet wider, and then just dangle forwards over the legs. And then you can slowly twist around to one side. Come back to the centre. Slowly twist around to the other side. And come back to the centre. So it doesn't matter how bent the knees are. We're not stretching the hamstrings here. We're stretching the back. So you really want to lengthen through the back of your body. Let the arms dangle, let the head dangle. And then you're going to come up slowly. Take 5 breaths to uncurl the spine. So you're pulling the vertebrae away from each other again. So 5 breaths. And slowly come all the way up to standing. This last move is really good for heartburn and indigestion. It's going to open up the sides of your waist, make some space between your rib cage and your baby, and it's also really good if you're struggling with breathlessness. You're going to take your feet wider apart, turn the toes out and the heels in, so you can come down into a comfortable squatting position. Now if you have got low-lying placenta or SPD, you're not going to want to squat very low, so just bend the knees to give you a comfortable stance. If you're okay with squatting, then work the thighs and enjoy that opportunity to stretch down into your hips. I'm going to take the arms up over the head and you're going to catch your opposite elbow. As you breathe in, lengthen the elbows away from each other. Come down into your squat. And as you breathe out, just take your right elbow over towards your right knee. And as you breathe in, come back to the centre. Keep pushing down through the feet. Exhale, come over to the other side. And inhale, come back to the centre. And repeat that again. If you need to come out of the squat in between repetitions, then just straighten the legs, have a breath, and then come back over into the side bend. And then we're going to make it even bigger. We're going to turn it into a full stretch. So the next time you come over, you're going to sweep all the way down towards the ground, reach up through the other side, and come all the way back with the arms over the head. And then we're going to go the other way. Circle all the way down, sweep across, and come all the way back up. And again. And you can do that as many times as you like, particularly if you've got any heartburn or indigestion. Come all the way up. Step your feet back together. And enjoy your day. Namaste.